Hi guys, it's Brittany here from My Core Floor, and I am here for a broadcast with Britt this week with you guys. This week I had a couple different women who private messaged me and asked me the same question. So I thought, you know what? If two people are reaching out in the same week asking me this question, they are probably not the only ones that have it. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to jump on and just chat with you guys for a few minutes. So the questions I got this week were, I feel like I have to pee all the time and then I'm always in the bathroom. And one woman said, it just creates such discomfort, as well as obviously it's just frustrating and a pain to have to always be feeling like you have to go to the bathroom. It interrupts work, life, etc. So let's back up and kind of do a little rewind. So how much should we be in the bathroom? So does anybody know, if anybody's on here watching live, or if you're on replay and you know, go ahead and comment #replay and give me the answer. But how often should we be going to the bathroom? So to answer that question, some things that you read will tell you that you should be going every 3 to 4 hours. I tend to tell clients, if you're really hydrating pretty well, as you should be, usually every 2 to 3 hours, I say, kind of still falls within that normal range of how often you should be peeing. It certainly shouldn't be every hour. It certainly shouldn't be every half hour or every 15 minutes. So normal amount of time between bathroom trips should be somewhere between 2 to 4 hours. I tend to lean a little bit more towards 2 to 3 hours, okay? And that is assuming you're having normal water intake. So this is one of the things I want people to look at when they're starting to have frequent urination. You should be drinking half your body weight in ounces per day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be drinking 75 ounces of water a day. So if not water, it should at least be decaffeinated fluids. Coffee doesn't count, tea doesn't count, alcohol doesn't count. So half your body weight in ounces. So I've had some clients that have frequent peeing, but then when we actually start looking and analyzing how much water they're drinking way beyond. So if you are constantly in the bathroom and you're drinking too much water, then just be aware of that. You might want to cut back your just your intake. But for a lot of women, that's not the case. It's not that they are drinking too much water or too much fluid. For a lot of women, there's a lot of other factors that play in. Some of the factors that will play into frequent urination is fear, because if you've had some incontinence issues or some leaking accidents, when you start to get that urge to urinate, you will want to immediately go to the bathroom out of fear. So if every time you start to get that sense of urgency and you're afraid of leaking, so you start responding to it, your brain and bladder will actually talk to one another. And so you can actually start messing with your brain and bladder signals. So let's rewind again. Bladder is a muscle and it starts to stretch as it fills. So every time it starts to stretch, you will get a feeling of, hey, I think I'm gonna have to pee soon. Those are not warnings of go to the bathroom now, you're gonna leak. Those are warnings of, hey, you may have to pee soon, bladder's starting to fill. If we treat those, though, as, oh my God, I need to get to the bathroom now, I'm going to leak, then our brain and bladder will start to recognize that. And so what happens is that if normally your bladder starts to fill and starts to stretch and it lets you know, hey, you're going to have to pee pretty soon, and you say, okay, and kind of carry on with whatever you're doing, the bladder will stretch and fill more. It'll give you a signal again that's a little stronger. And so you'll say, okay, I know I got to get there pretty soon. And then it'll get to a point where it's like, holy cow, I need to get there. Okay, so I really have to pee. If you are responding to that first urge, that stretching urge, your brain will say, oh, well, she must have really had to go. She responded when the bladder was only a little bit full on that first urge. And if you start doing that over time, you can actually train yourself into bad bladder habits. So your body then has to be untrained out of those habits, which is completely counterintuitive and can be a little difficult, but is totally, capable, possible. You can get yourself out of those habits. But so fear and bad habits often lead us into frequent bathroom breaks. How do we break that? So say our fear of incontinence has led us into frequently going to the bathroom. Say our, just responding and bad habits, even though, maybe we weren't really, at the point where we had to pee yet, set us into those habits. Moms are great for that because a lot of times, when we have younger kids, we get up during the night with them and then we think, I might as well pee, I'm up. or we're getting ready to go on a long trip and we tell all the kids, everybody go to the bathroom. I don't have to go. We'll go just in case. And so we as mothers often get into just in case peeing. And so again, that's another habit that we can start to form that goes right into, similar to the fear habit, the just in case peeing habit. Both of those will lead into, again, messing with the brain bladder signals. So if you've messed with your brain bladder signals, how do we get that back? How do we improve this? How do we get out of the bathroom constantly? This is one of the only times that I actually do a lot with Kegel exercises. So doing a Kegel or a squeeze of your pelvic floor muscles has actually been shown to decrease bladder spasm. So if you just peed 30 minutes ago and you've got that urge to pee again, and so you start thinking, oh boy, I have to go. But Britt just told me in this video that I should not be going for maybe another hour and a half. What I want you guys to start doing is I want you to practice wherever you are, whenever that urgency comes on and you feel like you really have to go, you're going to go ahead and do a Kegel and squeeze and relax, squeeze and relax. And you're going to try to do about 5 of them, 10 of them. And you're also going to slow your roll. The other thing that people do when they really have to pee, and especially if you're someone who's had a little bit of leaking or incontinence issues, is we want to run to the bathroom and we want to rush. Guys, if you have a full glass of water and you run across the room with it, what's going to happen? It's going to start splashing over. So you want to slow your body. So when you get that urge to urinate and you just went 30 minutes ago, you want to stop what you're doing. You want to try to do a few Kegel exercises and then see if you can carry on. See if the urge dies down and if you can keep doing whatever you're doing. Maybe it's only 15 minutes. So maybe in 15 minutes, it comes back again really strong. You try this again. See if it goes away for another 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It might not. So you might be like, well, geez, it's only been 45 minutes, but that's okay because it's better than going at the 30-minute mark. Walk slowly to the bathroom. Keep everything nice and slow, nice deep breaths. When you get to the bathroom, slowly unbutton your pants. Don't start bouncing around because, again, full glass of water, if you bounce it around, likely to splash over. So slow your body. Stop rushing and try to do a few Kegel exercises, okay? You're going to work on retraining your bladder slowly. So you're not going to go from peeing every 30 minutes to peeing every 2 hours the first time you do this. It's going to be small increments. So if you're peeing every 30 minutes right now, and then you can use this technique to push it back 15 more minutes, then you're going every 45, and then keep using the technique and practicing it. You push it back another 15. Eventually, you will get to the point where you can start to space out those bathroom trips. Now, a couple things to consider. If you are someone who has a prolapse of your bladder, which is where the bladder starts to drop into the vaginal canal, sometimes you are not fully emptying when you go to the bathroom, and that can also lead to frequent urination. So being aware that if you have a prolapse, getting your pelvic floor stronger with a lot of the exercises that we're doing in My Core Floor, if you're in our free group, if you're a woman, go join our free group if you're not already in there, because I'm giving free exercises every week how to strengthen the pelvic floor. Strengthening the pelvic floor can actually help push that prolapse up so that you can help to have improved emptying, which can help with frequent urination. So exercise is one way to help with this in case prolapse is part of the issue. One of the other issues you want to look at is your diet. So if you have a day, guys, where you are peeing more frequently and it doesn't seem to be consistent, some days are worse than others, look at your diet on those days and go ahead and do a little journal and kind of keep track of how often you're going to the bathroom, what you're eating on those days, because certain foods can definitely irritate your bladder. So anything acidic, orange juice, grapefruits, anything along those lines in that family, anything spicy food, Mexican food, acidic, also tomato sauce is another big one to consider. Caffeine is an irritant. Alcohol is an irritant. So look to see what you are eating or drinking on the days that your frequency is worse, because it could be diet related. I've told this story a bunch of times, but it literally in 20 years, it blew me out of the water. I had a gym teacher one time. Her urinary frequency and her leaking was worse in the morning and not in the afternoon. And she couldn't figure out why she taught the same thing in her morning gym classes and her afternoon gym classes, yet had more of an issue in the morning. And we were doing the strengthening, but I did also have her do a journal. And so when she brought it into me, I actually looked at it, and we figured out that in the morning, she was eating a lot of things that were irritating her bladder. She was having coffee, which was an irritant. She was having a half a grapefruit with her breakfast. She was having a half a glass of orange juice with her breakfast. So those are 3 bladder irritants in one meal. So I said to her, it's not that you have to stop eating these things, but look at where you place them. So instead of having the grapefruit in the morning, why don't we move the grapefruit to your lunch? And why don't you increase your water intake while you're having some of those things that are more acidic, because that'll balance out the acidity. As soon as we made the change in her diet, her symptoms literally almost improved completely. So diet can make a huge impact on urinary frequency as well. So things to consider. If you have a prolapse, get in that My Core Floor free group, start doing some of the exercises. There is so much more you can be doing than Kegel exercises to strengthen that pelvic floor and to help with prolapse. So that's the first thing. If prolapse is an issue, you want to strengthen that pelvic floor. And you also want to have it strong to give the bladder better support in general so you don't end up with a prolapse. So exercise is a good way to help this problem. Looking at your diet is a great way to help figure out this problem. Kegel exercises and slowing your body down to try to start pushing back the amount of time in between urination is another great thing to look at, as well as just overall fluid intake. Make sure you're not taking in too much water or too much liquids during the day that could be causing a problem with your frequency of urination. And you'll see that too when you're doing your journaling. If you do like a quick little, 2 or 3 days, write down everything you eat, everything you drink. You can look at how many ounces you're taking in a day, what types of foods you're eating, and see if diet and liquid intake is part of this frequency issue. So those are some of my tips on staying out of the bathroom a little longer, on improving urgency, and making some of these changes. So let me know if you have any questions. You can certainly comment below. You can always private message me. You can email me, Brittany@mycorefloor.com. But try some of these tips out. Let me know how they go. Let me know if it helps you out. Hope you guys are having an awesome Friday and have a great weekend coming up ahead. Take care.